foolish mortals.
Hi guys, what's up? Welcome back.
Take two.
Yes, we just had to re-record this because Burrow was barking.
Yes, we wanted to say thank you to anybody who's already subscribed to the channel. We have 18 subscribers, which, again, we didn't think 18 people would watch the first video, so.
No, we're so grateful and so excited for the future of our channel. Yeah, so before we get too far into it though, I'm Kayla.
I'm Dan.
And we are here today to talk about
the Pop Century.
Yes, Pop Century Resort. We're gonna do kind of a Pop Century Resort 101.
Yes.
Should we showcase our Disney mugs of the day?
Yes, yours was a returning mug.
Yes, if you watched our haul, this is the mug that I picked up at the Riviera Resort.
You've been drinking out of it for a few minutes, so it is a color changing mug. However,
the coffee's
the
not
coffee
hot
is,
anymore.
well, it's not at the top either, so
True.
It will not be daytime in that mug. However, mine is an Epcot mug, and it is from the Starbucks Been There series. I'm struggling to turn it because of the level of coffee, and there's a laptop underneath of my cup right now. So anyways, we have one for every park. And if you watched our first video, we also have one from Coruscant. Yes. Because we went there.
Let's get into Pop Century. What do you think?
Oh, I'm ready. I love this place.
Let's do it. So Pop Century Resort, it is one of the value resorts that Walt Disney World offers. And in case if you aren't aware, Disney has 3 different categories of resorts. They have their values, which are your most affordable option. Typically come with a little bit fewer amenities than the other ones, but they're a great option if you're looking to do Disney on more of a friendly budget. The moderate resorts are going to step up. They're going to be a step up in pricing, but also a step up in amenities and what they offer. And then the deluxe resorts, you're going to look at those running you at least around $500 a night, depending what time of year you go. But they typically have the most luxurious of amenities. They have plenty of dining. They're just really nice, but they are definitely not.
Food tends to be a little bit better. Pool options tend to be a little bit better. Like as you step up, like everything about the resort tends to be a little bit better.
Yeah.
The biggest thing that I will say is, especially if you're someone who is going to be spending the majority of your day in the parks, the value resorts are great because, you know, it's a place to lay your head, it's a place to watch some TV, catch some air conditioning, whereas the moderate and the deluxe resorts really kind of focus a little bit more on the in-room amenities. Yeah. So I think that with that being said, like if the majority of your time is going to be focused in the parks, value is one of the best ways to go.
And so we have stayed at Pop Century 8 times. So we're kind of pros on it. That's why we're diving into this resort in particular. But Pop is one of 5 value resorts that Disney World offers. They also have the All-Star resorts. They have 3 of those. They're All-Star Sports, Music, and Movies. And then Art of Animation Resort as well is another option.
So Pop Century is themed to the decades, right? So you have the 50s, the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. 50s kind of like cashing in on that, like sort of like, oh, we're going bowling and having a really good time. 60s and 70s is really kind of that hippie era. 80s really cashing in on the disco era, and the 90s like the emergence of like new technology, really. And I love the theming of the resorts in general. Like, I think it's so cool to walk through the different eras, but we can get into a little bit of that.
Yeah, so each section of the park has about 2 to 3 buildings a piece, and each building is marked by these larger than life statues that are synonymous with the decade that they are representing. So for instance, we stayed in one of the 70s buildings last time, and the staircase that we walked up was an 8-track. Is that right?
Yeah, you walk past the 8-track tapes.
Yeah.
And
then we had a giant big wheel tricycle right outside of our door. Across from us was a giant Mickey phone, like the old school Mickey phones from like, you see it in like a Goofy movie and stuff like that. See giant Rubik's cubes around. In the 60s, there's a humongous Baloo and Mowgli from the Jungle Book, and there's a giant Roger Rabbit. So just everywhere you turn, there's these kind of in-your-face, larger-than-life characters and statues. And they're super fun, and I think one of the things that's most endearing about Pop is that that's what it's like as you're walking around the resort, and then you get into your room and it's very subdued. It's very
yeah, I think that's one of the big things about values in general is like outside of the room, it's very in-your-face theming, right? Yeah. But then, yeah, like you said, now that most of the value resorts have been updated, the room is a little bit more subdued. It's a little bit quieter, right? So.
Also, real quick, I just want to hop in and apologize for the lighting. We're kind of dealing with the sun setting, so these shadows, I'm so sorry.
The yellow shirt maybe wasn't the best.
Yeah, like completely whited out.
But there's a castle, I promise. So Pop Century sits along Hourglass Lake, and that is just a body of water that separates Art of Animation from Pop Century. Originally, it was going to be themed like Pop Century was going to be 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and then they were originally going to build the other part of the decades, I think it was like 20s or 30s, up to where Pop Century starts, and that just never happened. So they decided to make Art of Animation. So the two resorts are, I would say, like on the same property. Right?
Pretty much, yeah. You can easily get to Art of Animation. You just have to walk across the Generation Gap Bridge, which is just a quick little walk across Hourglass Lake.
Which connects you to other like food courts and things like that. What I will say is that if you do stay at Art of Animation, you can walk across and enjoy all of Pop's pools and food court and everything. However, if you stay at Pop, you cannot enjoy the big blue pool that is at Art of Animation. It is a separate magic band. You have to skin your magic band to get in there. And it's just kind of one of those things that separates the two resorts apart from each other.
So speaking of pools, let's get into the pools that Pop offers. They have 3 pools. The biggest one is the Hippy Dippy pool. That's in the 1960s section, kind of right as you're walking out of the lobby. And it is just themed to like your kind of, I mean, Hippy Dippy is the perfect name for it because it's like your hippie paradise. Yeah. It's a flower petal pool. It's got these crazy daisies, which are super nostalgic to me. Me and my brother grew up playing with crazy daisies in the yard during the summer. And it's also the most energetic pool that is going to be on property. Yeah,
that's where they do all of the like fun games and stuff. They have music playing constantly around the pool.
There's also a little kiddie pool right next to Hippy Dippy pool. It's separate, it's gated off. But then there are other pools. There's a bowling pin pool in the 1950s section, and then in the 90s section there's a computer pool, which is kind of cool. You're just in like this big square pool, but you're looking up at this giant computer screen from clearly the 90s. It's got an AOL webpage pulled up on it announcing the opening date for Disney's Animal Kingdom in 1998. And then there's also, in case if you're interested, a 1-mile jogging trail at Pop Century in case if you're not doing enough walking while you're in Disney World.
Kudos to you. How anybody at any of the resorts finds time to do jogging. But if that's your thing, I'm not going to take it away from you. It is there. But moving on from that, there is a playground in the 1970s section. Honestly, it's kind of set back, it's recessed a little bit, but the best part about that is the fact that it's in the shade. So like in the middle of the day, if you have to come back to your resort, just because you're trying to escape the sun or the heat or whatever, you can still go down to that playground and take your kids there, and it's a really nice place to be in the shade and not have to be exposed to the hot Florida sun. Pop Century also has an arcade off of the main lobby of the hotel. It's as you do the pass through, so there's the Everything Pop gift shop and food court on one side, and then you have the check-in side on the other. And as you walk through that little pass through, there's an arcade, and honestly it's pretty big for a value resort. But you also have like some of the things that are offered at a lot of the resorts, which are like the campfire 7 nights a week. So this last time that we stayed, our room was very near where they were doing the campfire every night. It is by the Surfer Goofy. And they put a little pop-up like campfire there, and you can do s'mores and just kind of hang out.
And then like all of the other resorts, they also do nightly movies. This one's gonna be done out by the Hippy Dippy pool at 8:30 p.m. every night. So you just want to check like the board or check your My Disney Experience app to see what movies are playing which night.
Well, the one thing I will say about the nightly movies is that at Pop, it is at the very, very back of the Hippy Dippy pool. So what they do is they kind of turn some of the lounge chairs to face an inflatable screen, whereas that experience maybe isn't as good as if you were staying at like the Polynesian, where they have like this nice little grassy area that you can like sprawl out on. But again, that's just one of the things you have to think about when you're thinking about value or deluxe.
Yeah. All right, so now we're gonna get into the shopping and dining that is offered at Pop Century.
Yeah, so you have Everything Pop shopping and dining. It is open from 7 a.m. until 11 p.m. Plus side to that is you can run down and get breakfast, coffee. They now offer Joffrey's coffee at the Pop Century, which they didn't do before.
They did. It was just like your standard, like you would go up to
like
the
drip
coffee. And,
yeah,
drip coffee. But now they offer where you can go up to the counter and get a few different specialty offers. So it's a quick service option. It's your only option on property, and it is food court style dining.
Yeah, and I will say one quick note about that is I did say it closes at 11. If you are getting back and you want to refill those refillable resort mugs, you can actually still take it to the bar at the Hippy Dippy pool, and they have an open area where you can still refill all of your mugs even after the food court closes, because once the food court closes, you no longer have access to those like refillable stations. They do have mobile order available as well, so you can, as you're coming back from one of the parks at the end of the night, go ahead and place your mobile order, pick it up, take it back to your room. It's a really relaxing way to enjoy your food, because not all the time you want to sit in a crowded food court at the end of the night once you've been in the parks all day.
It's very loud and very busy in there at all
It's also
times.
very open, so like there's no sound deadening.
Yeah,
like,
it's just
loud.
one big dining hall. So you can get breakfast, lunch, and dinner at Everything Pop. They have seasonal treats, they have plant-based options, they have kids meals and allergy-friendly options. And then they've also got a grab-and-go section. Back in the back, it's just refrigerators where you can pick up quick snacks or drinks or treats, whatever you need.
So one thing that I think is really cool about Pop is that they have it set up in different stations. So if you want something that's just like sort of a burger or just like your quick sort of like meal, you can go to one station. And then if you want something that's like a little bit more traditional, like hearty food, they do have like a pasta station, a pizza station, and then the last time we were there, we noticed that they make sort of more customizable meals with like sort of more options as far as like what you can get there. So always check in with the food court to see what you can get that's offered currently.
Good news for ice cream lovers like me. The first time that we went to Pop in 2016, they had an ice cream bar at night. And then it like disappeared with COVID, and when we went back in August, it was there again, and it just made my little heart so happy.
And it's the same place that you can get the Joffreys in the morning.
Yes.
So it's just on the other side, or no, it's not, it's on the same side. It's on the same side as you can get the Joffreys. So you can get the Joffreys, and then if you just go back later in the day, you get their ice cream treats.
And then, like every other resort, you have the option to buy the refillable mugs there for $21.99. and then you can just refill them throughout your stay in the food court, or like Dan said earlier, if the food court's closed or you just don't feel like going in there, there is a soda machine at the Petals Pool Bar as well, which we're going to talk about right now.
Yeah, so Petals Pool Bar is by the Hippy Dippy Pool. It's, again, straight through the pass-through of the actual main building of the hotel itself. It is open from 11 a.m. to 11:30. However, they do not offer food, so if you are coming back a little bit later, you cannot order food from that particular location, but you can get, like, you know, fun drinks, like frozen drinks, alcoholic drinks.
If you're over 21, you can enjoy yourself a nice cocktail by the pool. What's your favorite drink from there? I know mine.
The pina colada.
The pina colada. Oh my goodness. I'm not even a big drinker. No. But oh my goodness, it's pina colada with raspberry mix, and it's
is it raspberry or strawberry?
It's raspberry, and it's the perfect combination of flavors. It's so refreshing.
It's so good. But so again, yummy. Open a little bit later than the actual pool itself, because the pools are closed at 11. Yeah. So you can get out, dry off, head over to the bar, pick up a drink, take it back to your room.
I think the pools close at 10 p.m. We didn't talk about that.
Oh, really?
I noticed that the last time, 10 or 10:30.
Interesting. That is open so much later than the pools. Fun fact.
Fun fact.
Bow bow.
Alright, so now let's get into the actual rooms at the resort. So there are 4 types of rooms. Each are going to sleep up to 4 adults, and the rooms at Pop Century are only about 260 square feet.
It sounds small, but like I said before, if you're spending the majority of your time in the parks, 260 square feet is enough to sleep and take a shower.
You're just using it as a place to lay your head at night and just shower and get ready and stuff. The square footage doesn't really matter.
No. So you have your standard room, you have your standard pool view room, which is over the other 2 pools, which is not the main pool of the hotel. You have a preferred room, and then you have your preferred pool view, which is the preferred pool view room that gives you a view of Hippy Dippy, which is the main pool of this resort.
Yes. And then just so that you're aware, the type of room that you book, whether it be standard or preferred, it doesn't change your actual room. It just changes where you are throughout the Pop Century property.
Yeah.
So how close in proximity you are to the skyliner, to the lobby and the dining versus how far away you are.
Yeah, and all of these rooms offer like wheelchair accessibility. If you absolutely needed like a standard tub style for like bathing kids, you could absolutely request that. Or if you needed something with a low entry, you could absolutely request that as well. And then you have hearing accessibility with visual alarms and notifications as well for any emergencies that might come up.
So as far as pricing goes, we're going to talk about what pricing is like at Pop Century for 2 adults. So I looked at pricing for a standard room in February, which is typically pretty off-season for Disney, versus pricing over Christmas week, which is their busiest and most expensive time of year. So for a standard room in February at Pop Century, it's going to run you about $181 a night. Whereas the preferred pool room, which is their most expensive room, during that same time will run you around $208 a night. So like a little less than $30 upcharge to go to the preferred pool room. And then over the week of Christmas, the standard room goes up to $342 a night, which...
I mean, if that goes up to $342 a night, just imagine what the rest of the resorts go up to.
And then the preferred pool view room goes up to $374 a night. So a pretty big range. It can be very, very budget friendly, or depending on when you're traveling, if it is over the super busy times, it can get into that moderate pricing.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing to note is like if these rooms are affordable and then getting into that like almost $400 a night range, like you have to think that the same sort of thing is happening at the moderate and the deluxe resorts as well. So, you know, just I would say do your research to figure out what room is going to work best for you when you go.
And what time of year, works best for you and your budget.
So the rooms typically come with one queen bed, and then you have a table with a couple of chairs, but that is a Murphy bed, and it can pull down into a second bed, or you can request the king bed. And if you get the king bed,
if you're in a preferred room,
yes, you have to be in a preferred room. But if you get the king bed, then you are basically just getting the king bed and then a table off to the side with a couple of chairs.
But I will say, I don't think that there are many king beds, because we requested a king bed about 6 times before we actually got it.
Yeah.
So
I think it was...
We got a little pixie dust this last time and finally got it, but...
Yeah, I don't know what the rhyme or reason was for them making king bedrooms versus like the double queen bedrooms, so... You know.
Yeah, but that's good to note as well. The king bed does not come with the Murphy bed, so
no,
it's just one bed in that room.
Yeah.
And then you've got your dresser. It's got a safe in it. There's a small closet to hang garments if you need it. There's a TV in the room.
You also get a coffee station preloaded with your Joffrey's coffee. And you also have USB outlets already included in the outlets themselves.
And then there's a beverage cooler as well. And like we mentioned earlier, these rooms have been relatively recently renovated. So now they come with that hardwood looking, I don't know if it's vinyl or what it is, but it's way nicer than carpet. They have a very clean aesthetic to them. Whereas the rest of the resort is very in your face, the room is very just kind of clean, calm. There's like one Mickey picture that's in that like pop art.
And I think if you bring down the Murphy bed, there's a little extra art that gets revealed, but that's, I mean, you would never see it if
but
it was
the rooms,
just
the rooms are really nice. The beds are super comfortable. The bathroom is separated from the room with a like barn style door, and then in the restroom you have a separation between your toilet and shower and bath area and your sink and vanity area, so somebody can be getting ready while somebody's showering in the morning, which is really nice. Like most hotels or resorts, they offer a hair dryer, and then they still have their H2O products. I believe that it's just until they run out. I don't know what they're going to replace them with. But for now, the H2O products are still in the showers. They're mounted in the shower, so you've got your shampoo, conditioner, and body wash.
Yeah.
So some of the amenities that come just with staying at a Disney resort in general, they have reinstated complimentary parking for resort guests.
It's a huge cost saving.
Yes. It used to be complimentary, and then with COVID, they started charging per night if you drove and you like were parking on property every night.
Was it COVID or was it Bob Chapek?
We're not gonna get into that because I don't know. He shall not be named. But now they have reinstated the complimentary parking. So if you drive, if you rent a car, anything like that, you don't have to worry about paying to park. Of course, there's Wi-Fi accessibility everywhere. They offer housekeeping, and there's also an on-site laundry facility. I think it's by the computer pool.
Oh, is it? I thought it was... We've never used it.
It's by one of the pools, so if you have to do a load of laundry during your stay, it's super easy.
I thought it was up by the Hippy Dippy pool.
It's by one of the pools. I know that.
It's by a pool. It's by a body of water.
Yeah.
And as it is with any Disney hotel, you do have access to the theme park early entry, so you can get into the parks up to 30 minutes early on pretty much every day.
Every day.
And it doesn't matter what park either. I think they all offer it. It's just, you just have to put the effort into waking up earlier.
Yeah.
With Pop Century specifically, I will say that you get obviously bus transportation to and from the resorts. However, you also have the Skyliner, which is a great savings of time. It takes you to Hollywood Studios, and it takes you to Epcot as well. The only downside to the Skyliner is the moment that they decide to close it because of inclement weather.
Yeah, which obviously being in Florida, it rains and it storms almost every day.
At the drop of a hat sometimes.
Yeah, but that's just, you know, I don't really want to be suspended in the air on a wire during the storm anyway, so I would rather them close it for a little bit of time. But when they do close it, they do offer bus transportation.
The only inconvenience I was going to say would be if you're trying to get on the Skyliner as a storm is approaching, because that is when you can see a little bit of a delay in the busing transportation. Just because they have to get a bus up and running to get you to and from the resort and the park. But that would be the only downside of the Skyliner I would ever say.
I would say, like, having the Skyliner
makes it hard to stay at another resort, even if it's a moderate or deluxe.
And I don't know if we even said the Skyliner for Pop Century, they share that hub with Art of Animation. It is also on that Generation Gap Bridge. So it's a quick walk from wherever you are, wherever your room is. You just walk over halfway across the bridge, hop on the Skyliner, and head off. It makes transportation so much easier. It's like, it's so luxurious. I know that some people don't like the Skyliner because it's a little scary, and I get that, because I also don't like it when it like stops and you're in the air. Oh my god, I hate that. But I still think that it is one of the best things that Disney has done recently. Yeah,
and to stay on a Skyliner resort that's a deluxe, aka the Riviera, you're talking 3 to 4 times the price per night.
So I think that was kind of our Pop Century overview. Is there anything that you want to talk about that we missed?
I don't think so. I think we got everything. Are we ready to do our top 5?
Yeah, so we're gonna go over what our top 5 favorite things are about staying at Pop Century. Like we mentioned earlier, we've stayed there 8 times. So obviously we enjoy it and we like that resort. We have not seen each other's lists, so we'll see if there's any overlap.
And we will be bouncing back and forth between these. If number 1 was like the top thing that you love about it, and number 5 was like, I still love this, but it's my number 5, what's your number 5?
My number 5 most favorite thing about Pop Century is probably the gift shop. I love the everything Pop shopping and dining gift shop. It's just so, like, I don't know, I feel like it always has fun things in it. You can get pretty much all the same stuff that you can get everywhere on Disney property, but there's just something fun about that one in particular that I love.
Yeah, I agree. I think, I don't know, there's a smell.
Yeah,
there's a smell to that, like, gift shop and food court that, like, if you've been there, you probably know what we're talking about. My number 5 was, so we drive every time we go, or typically most of the times we go. My number 5 was the ease of access to Disney Springs.
Oh, that's a good one, yeah.
Yeah, so I love the fact that it's literally like a 6 or 7 minute drive, and it's so much nicer when you go there and you can drive because you don't have to wait the extra 15 to 20 minutes for the bus to take you back to the resort.
Yeah, when we started driving to Disney Springs for the first time, it was like,
why were we not doing
have we
this?
not
We
done
have
this
a car.
every time? We always have our car.
Like, why are we not doing this?
It is a super quick drive, and the parking garages are way closer to everything in Disney Springs than the bus stops are. That's a good one. I didn't even think about that.
What was your number 4?
My number 4 favorite thing about Pop Century is probably the renovated rooms, like we talked about. They're clean, they're cute, they're comfortable. 2 thumbs up for me.
So, that was my number 4.
Look at that!
And the reason why that was my number 4 was, and like, I think that it's interesting because when you look at the older rooms, they were like themed to the decade. So they were a little bit more unique, right? So like when we stayed in the 80s building.
They were very like kitschy.
Yeah, when we stayed in the 80s building, there was like Black Cauldron like posters places. Yeah. And then if you stayed in other buildings, it was like movies from those like those decades. But like, I don't know, like the hardwood floors, like it feels clean.
Yeah. Previously, when we stayed in those rooms, I don't know why, but it just reminded me of like bowling alley carpet, you know? And it just kind of like grossed me.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the renovated rooms are really nice.
And did they have the door in the bathroom at that point, or was it like a curtain?
I think it was a curtain. It's
I
been
think
so
it was.
long, but I think it was just a curtain.
That was weird. What was your number 3?
My number 3 is gonna be the fact that this is so pop to me. People decorate their doors and their windows there, and I think it's the sweetest and cutest thing. So guests they'll bring decorations for their doors, their windows. They'll bring like the window clings and everything, just to kind of like clue people in as to what they're there celebrating.
Celebrating a birthday, an anniversary, like.
Or if, you know, they're just there to enjoy like Halloween, it'll be a Halloween window, Christmas. I just love walking around and seeing all of those. I think it's so fun, and I think that it's so cute that people put that kind of time to make their trip just that much more special. So
my number 3, it was the vibes, the theming.
The vibes, man.
I'm all about the vibes. Literally walking around and seeing like all the statues and seeing like all of the stuff they put across all of the buildings. Like, I don't know, something about that to me is just like, you're kind of like walking through the decades. You're like, oh, this takes me to like, you know, something that my parents kind of told me about, or, you know, it's just like a lot of fun because like the Disney company has been around for so long, and they've kind of like had influences from the decades. And I think that like having a hotel that shows that is really, really cool. And I absolutely love that. Like, I love walking through the hippy dippy area, and I love like walking around and seeing like the 8-foot tall Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head and the Mickey phone.
Yeah.
And then obviously
the foosball,
our favorite, the giant Roger Rabbit.
Yes, the giant Roger Rabbit. They're also just like, they're fun.
Yeah.
My number 2 favorite thing is just the nostalgia feature of Pop Century. It's the very first place that we ever went together. And so every time we go back, I'm just like instantly reminded of our
very first trip.
Yeah, and our very first day in the Disney bubble together. We just like,
oh, that's right.
we walked around the entire resort. We took pictures of like every statue because we were just in awe. We didn't know what to expect.
We didn't just walk
like,
around
holy cow. We walked over to Art of Animation. We took pictures of everything over there. So yeah, I just love how nostalgic it is at this point.
You want to know my number 2?
What's your number 2?
This is a brand new number 2.
Okay, hit me.
The newly added Google Chromecast feature to the TVs. So one, not only does when you first check in, it tell you welcome your party's family.
Yeah, that was
so
fun.
like
I
that's
that.
Amazing. I think it's just a great touch.
On the TV it says that.
On the TV. But like 2, if you don't want to watch like basic cable, you have the ability to watch whatever you want, which is really cool because, you know, basic cable is basically reruns. And as much as I love some reruns, sometimes I want to see like the TV that we can't necessarily tune in on, and without like watching it on a little phone.
Like we were able to watch Only Murders in the Building.
Or MasterChef.
MasterChef, yeah. That was fun. Yeah.
It was, and especially with the fact that the weather,
it was
kind
unexpected, and it was fun.
The weather kept us in the room a couple of days in our last trip. So it was nice to have that flexibility and to do that. I love that. I think it was really cool.
Yeah.
Our number 1's are the same, right?
Probably.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Skyliner. Of course, the Skyliner access, like we said earlier, it's amazing that you get that option staying at a value resort. You can't beat it. It's awesome.
Yeah, and I mean, like, it saves you so much time. And honestly, like, it's an omni-mover piece of equipment. It keeps moving, makes me feel better. It's like, I'd rather be moving in slow-moving traffic than in, like, dead still traffic. You know what I mean?
And I love the fact that I can hop on the Skyliner and hop over to the Riviera Resort and go up to La Petite Cafe.
One thing we've never done too is it does have a drop-off at the Caribbean Resort, and we've never really taken the time to go and explore the Caribbean Resort.
Yeah, but you have that option. Super easy peasy. Guess this one would qualify for any Disney resort that you stay at, but I'm gonna add in the Mickey Shorts cartoons. Because we never watch them at home, but when we are in Disney World, I love turning those things on and just like getting ready to the background noise of the Mickey Shorts. It just makes me think of Disney.
Which you can almost plan your day based off of which ones are on.
Yes,
we found out.
It is the same ones, depending what time you are getting up every day, but they're still so much fun and we love them.
So it wouldn't be good video if we didn't at least tell you a few of the things that were kind of cons or like that we wish we could change about the resort. So one thing that I wish I could change was the size of the rooms, right? Like I said, if you're only going and it's going to be the place where you lay your head at the end of the night, 100% it's great. However, there are a few other floor plans across Disney where it gives you a little bit of room where you could have a couch or like an extra space. Like I know one of the All-Stars has a family suite.
Sports.
I think it's sports. That would make sense. But it has a family suite, which is basically 2 Pop Century rooms in one.
Yeah.
And it gives you like a kitchenette, like a living room and all that stuff. And if you need space for your family, then I think it's a great option. My biggest complaint about the size of the room is that you get this one like hard chair to sit and watch TV in.
So one of the cons that I had listed was their room size as well. They are, like I said, only 260 square feet, and that is pretty teeny tiny. Especially we're only 2 adults. If you're trying to squeeze like a family of 4 in there, that, yeah, you would kind of feel like you're on top of each other, I think, for sure.
I would say that one of the things that I think was a little different was about it, and I get it being part of the value, was that it's not all inside. So if you need to go get food from the food court, or if you need to refill your mug and the weather is not necessarily cooperating with you, you are walking through that weather to get to that main building, whereas a lot of the other resorts are enclosed. So
the deluxe resorts.
Yeah.
And then another con that I had was just the very limited dining options. I mean, in the food court, there is quite a bit to choose from, but the fact that all that you have is that one quick service option is something that...
Which, I mean, I get what you're saying, but like at the same time, we've gone over to Polynesian before for lunch, and I wonder if you spent 7 days at the Polynesian, would you want a more diverse menu? Because whereas it's diverse for us from what we're staying at, the Polynesian menu for their quick service is small.
Yeah.
You know, so how many times would you want like teriyaki chicken wings or like that noodle salad? Like, cause like I said, that's a smaller menu than what's at Pop Century. So
it's true.
One of the other things that I would say is the budget-friendly coffee maker. At a lot of the other places,
it's not a Keurig.
It's not a Keurig
in the value resort.
You get this little like paper coffee mat that you put into the coffee maker, and it just makes this like 6.5 ounce cup of coffee, and it's fine. But it definitely encourages you to buy a refillable mug if you're a coffee drinker, to go down and get like the drip coffee out of the larger makers.
Yeah, I don't really mind it, but typically we're out of the room pretty quickly in the morning, so it doesn't really bother me too much. So another con that I had, and I feel like this would be one that families just, I want to make sure are aware of, with kids especially, there are no water slides at Pop Century, or no like really pool entertainment other than at the Hippy Dippy pool where the cast members are playing games with the kids. There's no water slide or anything like that offered. Yeah.
And I think my only other sort of like potential complaint would be if you're not paying for a preferred room. The room that you get can be far away from the bus stops. It can be far away from the main building, and it can be far away from the skyliner.
Yeah, and there's nothing worse than like doing a park open, a park closed day, and then having to walk like 10 to 15 minutes after you get back to the resort to your room. So yeah, I agree with that for sure. My last thing was just, I noticed it more this trip than I think I have in the past. The rooms are not very quiet. I could hear every morning that I was getting up to make like the virtual queues and stuff like that. I could hear the people next to us, their alarms going off and stuff. So it was they're not like the most private or quiet rooms, so just be aware of that.
So I think that pretty much concludes our thoughts and opinions on Pop Century and our experiences in staying there. If there's anything that you love that we didn't mention about Pop Century, feel free to let us know in the comments section below.
Or anything that you maybe don't love, definitely let us know that as well. I hope this was helpful to anybody who's potentially
thinking about staying in Pop Century,
considering it as an option. If there are any other resorts that you would like us to kind of do a, you know, this resort 101 over, definitely let us know in a comment.
If you need us to go and stay at another one to make a video about, we could maybe do that. We could do that. But we do hope that this was at least informative to you.
Yes, and thank you so much if you made it to the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching.
We had fun. I hope you had fun.
If you did, please subscribe for more.
Yeah, we've got more. We've got a like actual trip video coming.
If you're not already, make sure you are following us on Instagram. Put a link to that as well in the description. We're kind of active over there all the time, so come over and join the party over there.
Join the party.
Join the party. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you all in our next one.
Bye.
Bye.